I knew right away, if I hadn't heard of 2 for as long as 1 has been out, and I know 1 has been good, that...
There's a reason.
It's
I
a
would...
bad
Yeah,
boy.
then it's bad, right. I did see where it was the
Nathan,
same
you get
actress,
next
and I'm
to
like, oh, that makes sense. She's not really a big actress,
Climax
so...
boy.
She was really good too.
Yeah, she
Take
was
whichever one you want.
Yeah,
Boosted.
Juno comes back for some godforsaken
Juno
reason.
comes back?
And she's way more OP than before.
I was gonna say,
She
Juno
was-
would be the one I'd want to come back.
She was already... I'll save it. So...
She already was
And
insane.
the mic is on, right, Nathan?
Right?
Maybe.
May-
Probably.
Oh,
Yeah,
we'll just
fine.
do it again.
I'm rolling the dice. That's fine.
Yeah. We'll just straight it up on this
I
one.
think
Yeah, no.
Oh yeah. We'll
bring it a
do
little
this.
closer.
just in case. Just in case.
Sorry for the delay. I meant to be here way sooner, but Domino's took forever to make the fucking shit. I didn't order a whole pizza.
You can track it on their website.
No, like
on
I did
exactly
it for
where it's
pickup.
at.
Like it was like I put it in at like 4:55, which is plenty of time before 5:30.
Yeah.
And then I
it'll
was
take like 15 minutes to make.
yeah, 15 minutes for carry out, 30 plus to 30 to 45 is typical delivery rate times. Like
Did you get it delivered?
no, I had it picked up. I was on the way on the bypass.
Yeah.
So I put it in at 4:55. They weren't done until 5:25 or something.
Oh.
It's peak hours for 'em,
Still,
probably.
like I walked
Maybe.
in and I was like, they have a screen that has all the like times
Oh,
listed,
yeah.
and
With,
I'm like
10 cues.
yeah, and mine was on up there, but it was like 8 minutes and it wasn't even in the oven. And I was like, that accurate? And then she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm Dylan. And she was like, oh yeah, your tab didn't even get printed out up there yet. And I was like, fuck me. And I'm like, all right, I already paid for it, so I was like, well.
So
fuck
did you
it.
just sit there?
Yeah, I went back in my
Oh,
car. I was
that
like,
sucks.
all right, I'm gonna go wait in my
Yeah.
car for like 10 minutes then. And she was like, okay.
Mom and I were eating at L right across the road while you were doing
Yeah,
it. You
that's
could have
what
came and
I
hung out.
I know. Well,
Dang.
I didn't know. I was
You weren't invited. I'm sorry.
wasn't waiting. I was waiting for my food. I thought would have been done.
Bryce, what time did you guys start eating?
Probably 5:10.
Okay, never mind. I killed like 2 hours after work, and I almost went to L at like 4.
Yeah.
But I went to Jimmy John's and I sat there.
Did you
for a
get
bit.
bored and you shaved and that's what it was, or?
Yeah, I did that. in
You
like
could
2
just come
hours.
to the house and
Yeah,
chill.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, I never know when you're actually.
There's a
like,
TV
gone.
you could play on.
I
at
actually
least.
never know when they're there. Like,
don't either.
Even when I drive by and the car's there, I'm like, I don't trust it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I'm driving by there all the time.
Yeah. If I go the certain way, I could
Sure.
pass by his house every time, but I almost always go by down
Magnolia
Covington and then
yeah.
drop out.
This is
onto the
riveting
south
for them.
side. It is. It is. Well, that
We're
won't be
connecting our
there.
pieces. Where we were all at, Nathan. Where were you two?
Yeah, Nathan, 2 hours ago.
2 hours ago, I was in the office.
Watching The Descent.
Yeah. Oh, 2 hours ago, I was in Nashville still.
Oh, see, then he wouldn't have been able
Yeah,
to
that
go.
wouldn't
I
have
was there
worked.
at 4.
Well, you know, time.
Well,
It doesn't matter.
Anyways, okay, we ready to clap sync? Thank you.
Oh, needed it for sure.
Yeah.
Mason's the only one who humors him.
I
now.
don't know which
I
one.
love it.
Do we clap sync without the mics? With the mics, I've lost track. Welcome to a spooky, scary, somewhat out of season movie.
Lots of
barely.
skeletons.
Just barely. There's a lot.
You're
of
probably going to be
skeletons.
watching this when the leaves are turning.
back.
So
Yeah, well,
Yeah, turning
Oh,
back.
turning back.
when it's spring and they're watching what?
that is it.
Hey, it's the movie about people doing white people shit gone terribly wrong. Which I think just summarizes the movie more.
It really
or less.
does.
Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So The Descent, that movie came out in 2005.
Yep.
Yeah,
Real old. Real old.
real old. You actually might have been watching movies right around this time because V for Vendetta came out in 05. So did you catch this before?
I'm pretty sure I've seen this, or at least part of
Yeah.
it. Like I know enough of it too.
Yeah.
You know, it's a movie that has rock climbing.
Yeah.
And caving.
Oh, I can't wait for our commentary on how easy all the stuff
This
that
is
they were making
as
look
a
difficult
therapist,
was.
but
Man,
But as rock climbers?
the main thing I would say about the climbing in this.
Wait, well, we don't know what the movie's about yet.
What's
then
the-
get to
yeah,
it,
well, what's
little
the movie
boy.
about then?
Alright.
And then we'll go over synopsis or whatever. But anyway, it's just about the this. It opens with a cute little whitewater rafting trip.
Okay.
Girls just having fun. There's some weird chemistry between the main girl Sarah and her husband. You don't know what's going on, and as they're driving down the road, she's like, "You're a bit distant." And he's like, "Let me actually tell you who I'm sleeping with," and then just gets absolutely impaled, Final Destination style.
Yeah.
She wakes up in the hospital. She freaks out. Year passes, and then her friends are like, "Hey, you know what? Help her is if we take her on a surprise caving expedition trip." So they have this little cute, like, "Hey, these are all the." You get introduced to this cast of characters. You're like, "Oh, she's gonna die. She's gonna die. She's gonna die." It's the horror kind of trope. They go into the cave. It starts collapsing on them. They find out once the cave has collapsed. Juno's like, "Oh yeah, I took you into like an unexplored place without a map because I'm just kind of badass like that. You start seeing creepy crawlies everywhere that are like,
Whoa.
No, you don't.
Whoa, we don't.
You don't see creepy crawlies till halfway through this film.
The movie doesn't start descenting on us until about 50 minutes in.
It
so-
is
Yeah.
it is 100% just a cave story
Yeah.
for half of this movie.
Yes. This could have just been spelunking gone wrong, and now how do we
Yeah.
get out for
Yeah.
over the halfway point?
this is
Like,
also my first spooky movie I've picked for.
Yeah.
Like ever.
This year?
If you count Dead Snow.
I don't.
No,
No.
We don't.
That's a comedy.
It's a comedy.
Yeah, that's
first.
more of a comedy.
Yeah. Thanksgiving as well, which is actually on brand around this time of year.
Yeah.
Like some scary-ish.
But
What
Nathan,
is
what were you gonna say as a rock climber
Yeah.
about this?
Well, so I was just gonna say that it seemed like they were very overly exerted in all of their climbing, like super ridiculously exaggerated.
What
Pretty
part,
much
what part are you talking about?
So
the roof climb.
The
That's
roof
what I was
Yeah.
gonna ask
Yeah.
about.
And also in the roof climb, I didn't get a good look at it, but I don't feel like the gear they were using is appropriate. In order to climb something without pre-existing like
hooks.
hooks and things.
yeah, like
Repels.
without pre-existing equipment established as a established route, you would be doing traditional climbing, which requires a lot of specialized gear, a lot of cams, which are like these variable sized pieces of kit that you would have to have like a lot of in order to fit an unknown situation of a crack. And also it would have to be a crack.
Mhm.
The only way you can set gear is into cracks. You're not going to be setting it like, I mean, unless you're somehow tying onto a stalactite or something
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that.
Well, what they were doing was like they were like there was like a crack running through the like the
Yeah,
chasm.
Yeah, and they were just like chink.
Yeah, and they were like using their fingers. It looked like to go into the crack and hold
Yeah,
themselves
and
up
that's
while putting
right.
the thing in
Yeah.
there. So I was just like I was curious because they lingered on that 2 different times in the movie for a while. Like, is it really that hard?
I think as the climbing
I
experts
mean,
here, we would agree
it-
that
Oh,
the form
Well,
is fine.
So here's the thing. Crack climbing is, for most people that climb, it is so hard because you never crack climb. Like, nobody actually does that.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
a couple of years ago now, the World Cup bouldering competition had, like, one of their problems involve a crack.
Mm.
And every one of the, like, world-class boulderers failed except for one. Because there's only one that actually knew how to crack climb.
Yeah.
Because so few people do it.
Wow.
I do think, though, and while I was watching this, I had to remind myself at this point. So these trips that they're taking, the whitewater rafting trip, is something that Juno took them on. They Holly, maybe, like the girl with short hair, like the one that was like
Oh,
super Scottish or
The
whatever.
super posh.
Oh,
Yeah,
Holly, the one who's like, go through the cave as fast as I
Yeah.
can.
Yeah, that
Oh,
one.
yeah. The
Yeah,
one
Let's
that's
run
like,
through the
"Oh,
dark.
I'm going to
yeah.
run now.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so they
Deserved
take,
everything.
they take this entire group of girls
breaks
or
your
some
leg.
group of people on these trips. So in my head, during that part, none of these girls have ever been in climbing, really, like,
No.
or very, very, very low.
Well, they mention that they climb, and they do it by being like, "Oh, you know, remember when you were climbing? It's like, oh, I got this picture of you climbing."
And
Oh,
that
yeah.
was their
That,
like
that was
yeah.
that was
description.
the only like
The
lead
breadcrumb,
in.
right.
Yeah.
But to me, it's like this was just another crazy excursion that they aren't quite used to, or that they don't have a lot of experience in. So therefore, them being in this situation is like
it to me it seems like they did kind of know about caving,
Yeah.
and that one of them was just like, the cave that we're going to isn't cool enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
They
like
all had
okay,
experience.
sure.
mm,
And there's so many questions around that sort of stuff. It's like, if you know that you're going into one cave and end up going into another cave, what are the odds that you actually brought the right gear to go into an uncharted cave anyway?
well, that my whole question is like, at what point do you turn the fuck around and come back out? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
is it a time thing? Do you go in for 3 hours and say, guys, my crazy bulky yellow watch is going off. Let's turn it around
Well,
and
I
go back
think
to the
It's
car.
probably when you hit a dead end.
Yeah,
And you're like, hey, I feel like we're getting lost. So let's just go back the way we came.
I think
That
they've been
sounds
pretty cash
horrifying.
Yes,
they,
correct.
They're
yeah.
too like they're too nonchalant in this to
Yeah.
seem like they actually know what they're doing. Because
The
the thing
kid's
is,
falling
like,
down on
if,
us. It's totally
if you're
chill,
somebody
though.
that does this kind of stuff regularly and
why I
like
thought they were
are a really
inexperienced.
like an adventurous sort of person, you probably do take this kind of stuff seriously because there's, a great possibility of death in this sort of thing.
Mhm.
So the idea that they are being so nonchalant about it too. Just
Well, they're
seems
being
wrong.
all nonchalant about it because Juno is the one who scheduled this trip, and Juno is the one who's like, yeah, I got this cave all figured out and everything.
Super easy.
And I guess
Baby's
and,
cave.
and I guess that they just didn't care like fact checking her because Juno lied to them because
Yeah.
Juno told Holly like we're doing this cave. Holly's like that's baby stuff, and like because that was a way for Sarah to like get back together after her family died. So everybody's like, okay, Juno and Holly got this figured out. It's like this easy cave. We can do this, and that's why when they're going through those tight squeezes and everything, they're like this sucks, but like this is a known cave. It's going to be easy. And then when they finally like it collapses, Juno's like, actually,
That's when
like
she spills the beans.
this is not what we're going on. That's when they're all like, this is not chill.
Mhm.
Don't know what's going on, and then that's when they all start going crazy.
Well, and who was it that booked the? I guess it doesn't matter who, but it was not. It was like one of the not main characters. Okay, there's two of them.
The one who booked the
The
rescue
book, yeah. But well,
helicopter?
she said that she was like,
man.
"Oh, they'll come find us there," and she's like, "Well, no." Because we're in we're booked for San Diego and we're in San Francisco,
Yeah.
so that's pretty fucking different, like.
Yeah.
So they just lied to him. I mean, Juno
Yeah.
killed them. I mean,
Like,
Figuratively or
I
literally?
guess, like, ultimately, but, like,
One-ish.
this movie makes
Sarah finishes that
Juno
girl
seem terrible, and I don't understand why. Juno is not the
I
villain
mean,
in this story.
She's definitely a heel through this whole story, though.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's more. I feel like it's more the camera's painting her rather than the actions are actually.
For sure.
I'm actually
She never does really anything wrong except for, okay, yeah, that cave wasn't going to be so exciting, so I booked this one instead.
Or-
Or so
I had
that's
some-
it.
I had some good intentions that maybe didn't work out for us
With my best buds.
with our besties, and then like okay, so actually this is my most irritating part about the movie actually was the part where the descent starts descenting all over the place,
Yeah.
and then she's like Laura Crofting the fucking the
a
people.
fucking mad woman.
Yeah.
Crazy good.
And then one of her homies just comes up very quietly.
Well,
Yeah, nice
we're
and
skipping
quiet.
so
Let's
much
sneak
of the
up on
movie.
some-
We're not
Yeah.
really skipping much.
We're getting
We're
to the part that
climbing,
actually
descending.
matters, which is the halfway
But
Yeah.
of this film.
but the first half before Dylan gets into like
Alright.
the clobber knocking of the
Before
of
it
the
becomes-
forehead.
before it becomes-
Tabernacles.
Before it becomes Tomb Raider, but it's actually Cave Raider. in this one,
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I've like even
Temple
though
Run.
like I think this movie does start off pretty slow. Unfortunately, I think normally like the beginning part of the movie where you're establishing characters, you're really establishing their traits and what they're like. So at least you care a little bit when they die. But honestly, like the first like 20 minutes before they start like really getting into the cave, you don't really find out too much about them. You find out there's two sisters. There's a group of sisters. There's two of them. Holly's a bit of a like crazy girl. She likes other girls. That's important to know.
Well,
for some
she
reason.
looks it.
And then
Did you see her car at the end? Too?
Yeah.
It was like climb anything that
and
just
then
because,
and
yeah.
then Juno's like this athletic person who went for a run before they went. But other than that, I mean, you don't really find out too much about them. And then they're like
There's-
walking to the cave, and there's so much wasted time. This movie's already fat. I want to tell you that. That when they're walking to the cave, I don't know if you all remember. There's so many nature shots where it just zooms in
It's
on
got
nature for the longest
that
time.
Twilight, like, but earlier than that, even like this bluish. But it is supposed to be in like the rainy. Like,
Yes.
They want to get the
Appalachian,
Appalachian
yeah.
Mountains.
I was saying that the whole time while we were watching this. It's like, what? There's just blue filter over it that's
Yeah.
so annoying on everything.
It's that mid 2000s.
Well, you better
filter.
soak it
Yeah.
up because this whole movie is either going to be red or dark.
Yeah, it's red
Like,
filter, blue
after-
filter.
No, there was green.
There's some green
There was
filter.
also
I loved
Night
the
vision.
green.
The night vision-
The green was fantastic.
Night
There
Well,
was
vision
no,
is
no,
neon.
I'm not talking the
Or
night vision, like the
oh,
glow sticks.
The glow stick.
They're
lamps,
backup
okay.
glow sticks, evidently, because they weren't using those until the very end.
Yeah.
But and then they get into the
Which are-
cave.
You want a lot of light.
They start doing their things. Then when you start knowing that it's getting real is when Sarah gets stuck in that poop chute that she's going through.
Yeah.
I love the claustrophobic stuff. That's probably got me like actually more like scared than any of the monsters
Yeah.
because I know he's shaking his head because look at him, he's a caveman.
Mhm.
He can do all this kind of stuff.
These girls didn't have the dog in them.
My soft hands and fingies aren't made to do stuff like that. And look at this head. If I go down anything
So big.
like that,
So big.
I'm absolutely.
Well, you see, the thing is, you'll be
cooked.
able to judge based on your head whether or not the rest of your body will fit. So that's
and
fine.
mine's a good gauge.
When you're just like dink dink, you're like, no, I'm not getting in.
And it just go backwards.
Yeah.
But and the way they shot the claustrophobic scenes, I loved them. Like it was either like really close, so like you felt that claustrophobic feeling, or it was weird how they like zoomed it out and like it showed
it was
them.
still,
It
like, the
showed
tunnel.
them in the
It
tunnel
still
with
just
all the
looked-
rock
It
around
still
them.
just looked like 127 hours though. Like it was the same type vibe.
I
which
haven't
is
seen
fine.
that, so I don't have a
No,
comparison.
yeah,
But
the
I
cinematography is very.
I
good.
love that
Yeah, it's
shot.
good.
That was
Yeah.
like probably my favorite shot of the movie, like zooming out with the
Mhm.
rock around them, and you realize like, oh,
Yeah.
it's bad. I
But-
liked it, but you can start getting into the.
I was
killing
gonna say
if you
then
want.
Sarah or not Sarah,
Which one?
Becca.
The best
No.
friend.
You're just
Beth.
making up names.
No,
now.
It's
there was a
Beth.
Beth. It was a
Yeah,
Beth that broke her leg.
We're generally really
Holly
bad
broke
at
her
Holly
leg.
broke her leg. Beth is
Yeah,
the
Holly
actual
broke
good
her.
friend who's
Yeah.
like, I got you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Is she the one that gets Tomb Raidered?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I find
Or
it
Beth.
annoying whenever you're in a situation like that and somebody just has to break their leg.
Oh,
It's
you're
just
talking
like,
about that.
cool.
Okay.
Now the story is we have to deal with this person too.
And now we're.
She gets
like-
dealt with pretty quickly.
Yeah, she's not.
Mm,
But you,
Well,
I was gonna
she-
ask you, how do you feel about the broke leg thing? Because that stuff usually is like.
That's what gets
Oh, I
you.
don't. I didn't look at the screen.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
right.
looking away through that.
And why did like I get that she's panicking or something kind of at that point.
Why is she running?
And Juno's like, hold up, and
Yeah.
she's like, no, and then she just keeps sprinting through an uncharted cave in the dark.
In the dark.
Well, so it was
Well, she had a
assumed.
headlamp.
No, it was assumed that there was
If anybody's
there was
worn
a
a headlamp,
draft. They held the ladder up. Then Juno said, "Oh, it's this way. It's this
well,
way."
and then she saw light.
Took
kinda.
off.
Yeah.
So like they were in a crucial situation. The freaking thing just collapsed on them. They got into this big argument. There's their way out.
Nah,
of it.
I don't give it
you
to her.
can
She-
justify
I'm not
it all you
running.
want,
I'm not running
but
now.
that's-
I'm with you, Nathan.
that's-
That's just suicide.
There's so many stupid decisions.
Oh, there's so
let's
many.
go ahead and
Do you
get
wanna
into
do those?
into the violence here. Because
All right. Yeah.
you were saying that there's a moment where they like one of them is fighting with these creatures
Peak
that live
stupid
in the
decision.
cave,
Yes.
and one of the other members of the group decides to quietly walk up on them after they were just stabbing these things
and-
with
yeah.
a pickaxe
and rolling on the ground. Like this is the
Or not
first
a
time
pickaxe,
they're going.
like an ice pick.
Ice pick.
This is the
Or
first
ice
time
pick.
they're going fisticuffs with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And Juno is fighting too, and she's like rolling around on the dirt. For some
Dogging her.
reason, they
Yeah.
don't. For some reason, they don't really bite her. She's got plot armor, I guess.
No,
And she's
these
just
are
like
different.
rolling around and doing that. And then she's rolling around on the ground fighting, and then she gets up like, man, that was crazy. And she's got that look in her eye, and then
It's a dog. And then the person snuck up and she said, "Here, boy," and they got bit.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what happens when
Yeah,
you got
that-
the dog.
That's
Yeah.
That's such an incredibly stupid thing that I don't think anybody would reasonably do.
they
No.
do
Like,
that.
you see that in movies pretty damn
De-
often.
Dead,
do.
Dead Snow did that exactly.
And-
Remember that with the
Yeah.
chainsaw?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's like
Hate
7 of them, 6 or 7 of them. So like they do have the numbers to start killing.
They've got
them.
the numbers to thin the herd a little, but
and this does create this ridiculous
Narrative.
like narrative towards like the 2/3 point through the movie, almost 4/5 point through the movie, where like Beth is still alive, and she like utters to Sarah later on.
bleeding out for about 40 minutes
Don't trust her.
Don't trust
Don't
you.
trust
no.
her. She definitely did this.
this.
It wasn't my fault.
Fuck
Stabbed
you,
in the
Beth.
neck.
That sucks.
No, it wasn't me. I mean, yeah, I didn't say like on your 6
Yeah.
or anything like that.
I didn't give
Going
any
dark.
heads up as I snuck up on her while she was fighting in a cave.
In the dark while she was fighting for
Well,
her
she
life.
just
and
like dropped 2 of these fucking
death.
gremlins.
She dropped 2 and she was on an adrenaline high, but
And
It's
then,
not her fault.
It's her fault.
and then when Sarah's in their murder dungeon or whatever, and Beth's laying there dying, she's just like gurgling for the longest time, and Sarah's like, I'm sorry, I can't do anything, I'm sorry, and Beth's like gurgling, and then with her like last breath, she's like, Juno did this. Also, she was having an affair with your husband.
Did she really say that?
no, she did.
Yeah, she
did not. I
because
don't
she
remember.
gave the.
Shut the hell up.
I swear she gave the locket.
gives her
Yeah.
more incentive.
Well,
yeah, did you not
Yeah.
see the
Yeah,
where
the
they
little
kind of
feather
like
thing.
flash it right before she kills
Yeah,
him?
I
later
did, but
on, too?
I was thinking.
What does that mean about the affair?
Oh, yeah, I didn't think it was anything on the
It
affair. I
was
thought
about
it
the affair because the lot
I
because
couldn't hear the gurgling.
because
I know.
because she because one of the things that the husband says is that, or they quoted the husband because it's like live free and die hard, something like that, something stupid like that.
Uh-huh.
It's some kind of quote that he's known for.
Live
and,
life free is what it says.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And
What are
Live,
you
laugh,
doing,
love.
Nathan?
He's got a bug over there.
There's a big
ladybug?
ass spider that just went across the floor.
I saw the ladybug up in the top frame.
I didn't catch it.
Okay,
Yeah,
but
it's-
anyway,
it lives
she
here now.
she
That's
gives a
fine.
locket that
It's
was
Among Us.
because as what's her face, Beth, and like as Beth's going down from Juno killing her, she like reaches her neck and rips that off, and Juno's been wearing that locket that the guy gave her.
Oh, okay. I didn't pick up on that. I thought it was strictly that it was like, hey, Sarah or whoever gets fucking stoned to the
You know
face.
what? That
was
helps
like-
this whole case a little bit more.
It helps a little bit because
It helps a little.
I was
Oh,
with
yeah,
you.
definitely.
I was with you where I'm like, low key, Juno's the hero in this
Yeah,
story.
I'm
She's
not
getting
mad
painted as
at
a
her.
villain, right?
Did you not know that she had an affair?
No, that part actually.
No,
a little bit
I completely skipped over that.
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
don't
this
know.
movie at least 3 or 4 times.
Right,
I never
this is
know.
the second
At
time
the
that-
beginning, the husband says that.
It's
It kind
pretty
of gives
clear.
the
they're-
context.
It's
yeah.
pretty clear they're having an affair.
Well, they didn't show the sex
Damn.
scene, so that's gonna reflect in my score.
Yeah, that's Dylan's turn
Yeah,
off.
and Juno's putting out the mad fuck me energy with the flexing at the beginning of the movie too. So
She's-
to be fair,
Oh,
if
yeah.
I'm the husband,
Yeah. Out of this group of like
Sarah
6.
just keeps being real sad about this affair. Meanwhile, Juno's over here like, hey, so you want to go to explore some caves?
Oh my god.
Juno's
Puts her
Lord of
leg
these
over
crevices.
it.
Yeah. You wanna crack climb this bad boy?
So that happens to Beth, and then like all the gang splits up, right? Like
Oh, yeah, they
everybody's
start to
on
get
their
picked
own.
off,
Well,
Yeah.
because like 10 of those monsters drop out of the sky.
Let's call them goblins.
There's like-
Yeah.
I mean, they're like crawling along
They're more
on
like
the
wolves.
ceiling and
goblin.
stuff.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
Pretty cool.
So are we to presume? Are these just like subterranean creatures, or are these like
No,
human?
these are
Evolved
people.
that devolve?
Evolved
Or
people.
devolved
Okay.
people.
So well, yeah, no,
No,
evolved.
it's always
It is
always
evolved.
evolution.
Okay.
They're adapting to
there's,
the
There's no de-evolution here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that being said, at one point you mentioned that there's enough of them to really put up a good fight. If you have enough things living in this cave that they have evolutionarily changed,
Yeah.
there's a lot of them.
There is a
There's-
near
there's
infinite
not a
amount.
small
There's
number
not
of
4 of them
living
that
in
are
this
just like raining.
It's not just like us and then the neighbors next door. You know, like there's a whole neighborhood in this place.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
There's at least like several hundred of them
Yeah.
minimum.
Yeah.
That being said, when I watched this movie this time, I felt as though there was only like the one woman because there was
Yeah,
the one woman
yeah.
one who,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, who was
Yeah.
clearly having a lot of children. But
Yeah.
and then they all felt very upset whenever she was dead, and I was
Yeah.
like, was that the one? Was
It's like an I
is
Am
that the
Legend.
queen?
Yeah, like
that's the love interest of like the main vampire.
right,
Dude.
yeah. But then there's also that super yoked one that's like out of the blood pool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's like just kind of like stomps over her or whatever, and
The
I was
blood
like, yeah.
pool is such a stupid premise, but it
Nah,
is
I
kind
fuck
of-
It
with
made
it.
for
I
a
mean,
cool
it's-
looking scene.
It was
it's-
cool.
Yeah,
It's cool.
It's cool,
That
but
was
it's
the best
so
scene.
stupid.
It's
it
dumb.
makes no sense.
It's dumb, but I'll suspend the dumbness for the coolness.
Yeah,
of it.
and it
No,
doesn't.
no,
It's
it,
not.
it gave the opportunity for Sarah to like rise to
Rise
the
to the
occasion
occasion.
with the ice
oh yeah,
axe and just
yeah.
like
I mean, it's
blood
it,
covered.
it's a Tomb Raider moment.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Her and Juno both had like an exact mirror image of like I don't know. As soon as Juno like heard one of them come in like earlier on, she flicked up her axe. She was just like, "All right, I'm ready," and then she fucking beamed it through the camera
Yeah.
shot. Oh man, some bad bitches.
Why do you bring ice climbing pics?
Nathan, that's not the point.
No, I'm with him.
Cave dive.
I didn't think about
I don't
that at
know.
all.
Maybe you can use those in caves.
Well, it was.
I don't know.
They came pretty useless now.
I mean, no, yeah, sure,
Yeah,
they were
yeah.
definitely useful.
They had
They had more
Skills.
gear equipped for killing people rather than efficient climbing gear for the occasion.
We didn't talk
though.
about
That
one of
was
the
awesome.
funniest deaths I thought was when the little sister was crawling across the thing,
Yeah.
and they're like, "You don't have enough rope. You're not gonna make it. Just come back."
I'm
and
gonna
then
take
all
one down.
and then all of a sudden a crawler comes out of the ceiling like, "Ah!"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, this sucks." And then she like winds up killing him, but he rips her throat out, and then she's
Yeah.
just
So-
hanging there.
So my thing is, and I'm gonna try to like validate this a little bit. So you have different levels of these goblins, right? You have some that are going for
Yes.
these throat shots. You
Yeah.
have some that are so fast and so gnarly, and then you have some that are like we could all take one on one.
and they
Yeah.
just want to wrestle. They
Yes.
just want to wrestle.
Yeah. So
I get that,
so my question for right now is, do you guys think that you can take on the biggest dude,
Oh, the
the
blood.
biggest
pool one?
goblin?
I've seen
Yeah.
the biggest one. Descent 2 has the boss.
Oh, God.
I
Crawler
don't
in
want
it.
him
Well,
in this argument.
No,
I don't
he's
think
talking about
I don't know about
Descent.
DLC Descent, but Descent the base movie. Yeah, I take him.
if there's an ice pick or like any kind of weapon, I feel like
If I have it's double points. If I have a weapon, it's already clear. But
yeah,
like,
I mean, if you have a weapon,
It
it's
shouldn't
a
be able to
given.
get you if you have like an extra arm's length on it, and,
And
it's
also,
a sharp blunt object.
their hearing must not be that good because there was plenty of
The
whispering
fire.
Yeah.
going on,
Like
and
that
yeah,
fire's
swinging
gonna
the fire
be able to
around.
like you're gonna hear that.
the senses
Yeah.
are not that good.
Yeah, so like
Right.
I mean,
De-evolved.
if
Yeah.
and if you can literally like be laying there and they like put their hand on your head
That's
and
what I'm
don't
saying.
realize, oh, I'm touching somebody. That might be a person.
I was thinking that
Yeah.
same
It's not a
thing.
plain skull
Like,
either. It's got
they're-
skin on
they're-
it and hair.
They don't have a lot going on up here.
Yeah.
So-
So
So that's a yeah. I mean that's I think we take that.
all that I'm hearing is that you get a free sneak, move, attack,
yeah,
whatever
you
on
get a
it,
free sneak attack.
with improvised weapons included.
Yeah.
I clear.
100%.
yeah.
I'm taking at least one
you
down.
win the initiative roll. On these
Yes.
guys.
Yeah. we're taking them in the one-on-one fights. The rock climbing stuff, I'm never there, so the ends. Like, it is irrelevant.
That never occurs. So
Here's the deal.
No worries there.
That whenever they first come across that gap where like the whole ceiling hanging thing has to happen, like the rope has to be created, the bridge.
Mhm.
I'm trying to jump that thing. Like
Yeah, it's a close enough jump.
like
I'm
I don't know.
Man, caves are slick.
slippery though, brother.
True.
You get to the
Caves are
other
real slick.
But remember, she fell down just fine.
That's true. By the time that she did fall down, it was water.
Like what am I gonna get? Like a bruised rib from like trying to latch
Well,
on
they might
and
break
I'm gonna
your
slide
leg,
off?
as
No.
it turns out.
Are you talking about the second jump?
The
That was
one
the
where
same
the girl
gap.
dies as a.
Yeah, it
You're
was the
talking
same
about two
gap
different
at the time.
ones.
It's
No,
the
they're-
same gap.
They're
No,
two
it's
different
not.
gaps because the rope isn't there for the first.
No,
time.
there's it's a different one.
Yeah.
I don't believe it.
No,
It pro- it
You know,
def-
yeah.
It certainly looks like the same one.
It
They
looks-
use the exact
Because
same
they
set.
have a crack
Yeah.
again, conveniently.
It looks like the same setup, but they don't show like any of the hooks or any of the things. Because I remember.
Well, they took him with them.
oh,
except
yeah,
for
but
like.
you gotta take your kit with you.
how do they round all the way back and get out? Then that's where because they also.
That's what I'm saying about cave. Like, where do you go? You
She
just turn
could-
around and go home.
She could have went. They could have went back the same way if they got like.
I feel like they were
dead end.
way too far in at that
well,
point to be able to
they
backtrack.
couldn't have gone
right?
back because of
Well,
the
they-
cave in.
Well,
Yeah,
the
the
cave
whole
in. That's
idea,
not. Yeah,
right?
obviously after the cave in,
Right.
you can't go
But
back.
you're talking about early on, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay,
But it wasn't like a problem really
no.
until the cave in.
Yeah, I mean the cave in.
The cave in really kind of closes
So
off the doors.
yeah.
do they turn back before the cave in? No, not
No.
really.
No.
No.
That-
I do.
If I'm getting chased, I'm still like, I'm getting chased to a cave in. Through you go. Like, that's it. That's the mentality. If you're in a cave and it's like, well, I know back there is nothing except Price's head. And then over here is barbarian things that I can probably take.
I can take one of them.
I'm taking at least one. I'm taking
Well,
the
and
exits
if you
that
know,
way.
Like all you got to do is be quiet, and they also can't see.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you just sneak.
They
Yeah.
were not being stealthy enough for.
It's because they
figuring
were
out-
broken up though.
They're
Like they
like-
kept screaming every time that you thought that
Oh
they
my
had
God.
an edge. They would be
Women
like,
dying are always screaming.
and then they would be like, oh, yeah, we hear you, but so do the
Like,
600
yeah,
goblins.
Like
The other girls were
the,
smart about
the
it.
moment
Oh, yeah.
that you see goblin creatures in a cave, you shut up.
Yeah.
Like, it's real easy.
And
Yeah.
from that point on, you shut up.
I know none of you guys know sign language, but you're about to learn some like cave signs real quick. where I'm
Five
like,
keywords.
Yeah, you're about to see like
three up
three
ahead.
over there.
Kill. Yeah.
Some like SEAL Team 6
Yeah.
type like potions.
Price is head. Is the next
Price?
Price. It's the money.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, okay.
Price $ air. Yeah. Like,
Okay, anyway, about the movie itself. What do y'all think? Besides the situation, what do you think about like the actual movie?
Mason.
I loved the weird tempo. Like, me and Nathan did talk a little bit about it beforehand. How it does take a long time to see these goblins. And when I think of The Descent, if anybody asks me on the street, "Hey, The Descent," I'm gonna think of these like cave crawlers.
They're so much more like ghouls.
But you don't see them until halfway through the movie, and that is my only main like issue with the tempo. But it still feels right.
Did
This
you need to
movie-
watch the second one?
because it's all that.
It's all tempo.
Well, that-
crawlers
they
all
figured out the
time.
formula.
Yeah.
And that's why no one likes it.
Yeah. Well, so besides that though, like I think that this movie just feels correct. There was a lot of human error before there was a scary cave dwellers
Right.
like issues happening. Like the broken leg can happen. The rope burns in the hands
God, that
can
rope was
happen,
so
which is
gnarly.
another reason why
That's
I feel
actually
like
the
these
worst
people
injury
are
to me.
unexperienced. Where it's just like
Yeah.
Why didn't anybody hold on to that rope with
Yeah,
her?
like the.
Why is it just her?
If-
Like,
She's
if
120
you've
pounds
actually
holding up a
got
girl that's
proper
150.
belaying gear, then
Sure.
you're not going to have a
You're never
rope
gonna-
go sliding through your hands like
we're
that.
right back to gear again, right? Like it's
But that's
so
like,
many amateur mistakes here for professionals.
Before there was like bad issues, there was just regular
Human
normal issues that
Yeah.
like you would probably run into when you're
Yeah.
using equipment this entire way through this cave that I'm never going to go into in the first place. But I do. I think that this
Nah,
movie
I
has a
don't know.
fantastic
Okay.
like.
Nathan's
turn.
like, I want to kill some of these ghouls.
No, I did
Proof
too.
point.
After I saw what they could do to him, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
maybe give
Nathan
me a
goes in
shot.
with 2 knives into the
Right.
hole,
Yeah.
into the breach.
She just like creates war paint and just, like
Right.
yes.
Well, with all of the like, and it's not because they're women. I'm just also noting that with all the women like running around screaming and still managing to kill it like out of fear. Like if I'm going in with the right mindset, I'm clearing half the camp. Like it's sneak attack, crack, call the dead.
Headquarters will be yours.
Oh no, I'm dead. Got him. That's
Like
the-
a Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, it's just gonna be
with
the Bob Barker. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Dude. And they were very squishy. Like only a couple of them took a couple of the.
Yeah, they look soft, man.
Yeah, they looked like they had
Oh,
they
yeah.
had soft
The
heads.
goop.
Yeah.
Yeah, their skulls didn't harden up.
No, they
Talking
didn't.
about
need
being
to.
in that cave, I guess you're.
It's all the drips.
Which doesn't really make a lot of sense. You know, there's a lot of that's all hard surfaces. You'd think you want that skull to be pretty tough, but it doesn't seem like it
No.
turns out that way.
No, they were cracking like eggs, and I'm Gaston,
They
and I
were.
want 12 dozen of them. So, so I will say though that the even into the like the horror movie monster part of the film, so like the last 40 minutes of it, it feels like the first 20 minutes are like we're mostly kind of helpless. Juno's really kind of working some stuff out over there, and then it's kind of like 30 minutes in, and it's like. Oh, now we're all Tomb Raiders together, except for the sister. You were making really bad decisions. You're kind of just like meat on a rope
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
So like I did think it was a little silly, but a little into it, where it was like they're helpless. Now the cave people are running from these two now.
Yeah.
Like, but then the other part of me is like they just got the dog in them. So and immediately it won me over. I was like, yeah, just because you're depressed doesn't mean that you can't kill a man.
I mean, I liked. I thought Sarah did the actress who did her. I liked her
No, Sarah was
performance
good.
a lot.
Yeah.
Especially after basically after Beth was like, Juno did this. She
Kill
also had
Juno.
sex with your husband.
Yeah.
Like the light just like goes on in Sarah's eyes and is like, all right, it's survival mode. I'm a bad bitch.
I'm surviving until I can kill Juno.
Well,
which is
actually, it's really
You know what?
after she kills Beth.
No,
That's
you know
when
what?
she's like, I'm
dog
done.
activated.
Yeah,
Does
dog
that not-
activated.
Does that help Beth's situation as far as the best or worst villain? Because she
No, Beth's
knew.
the worst villain.
She knew.
Oh, I've known for years. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
tell. Like,
she kept
and
it a
that's her
secret,
best
and-
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So,
pretty-
once
Beth is the
again-
villain. Juno.
What do they say in Debate Club?
I'm gonna Google that.
That's
I
my
don't,
point.
Oh,
Like,
that's
I-
yeah.
like,
I don't
that's
know.
it.
I'm gonna look up and see if she actually knew before.
Well, then why
I
didn't
mean,
she?
also-
Did you know, like,
Wait,
admit to
y'all
her?
were saying Beth, isn't it Holly? Holly's the one that fell in the cave. and
Holly
broke
was
her
the
leg.
No.
Holly's
dead.
Holly's
Oh,
the
she was dead.
But it was
Yeah,
because
she
of
was
her leg
dead
that she was
already.
dead
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Beth was the one who got the ice pick in
Okay,
their neck,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
Who
yeah.
lived for 40
lived for
something
like
minutes.
way
Beth
too
did know.
long. Beth did know.
She's the
Yep.
worst villain
Beth,
in this thing.
Beth is the villain.
Juno is fine in my book. I
She
don't.
had the affair.
Yeah, but that's unrelated to this, like,
That-
to this bubble
This
incident.
is survival. You can dish that stuff out
Listen,
afterwards. She doesn't need to die.
I'm
in
just,
the cave.
I'm with Mason on this and sitting here and saying, all right, hold up. All right, so if I, like, cheated on my taxes, I don't want that to matter when I'm in a cave and
Let-
I'm trying to get rescued with all my friends.
I'll go to jail.
Maybe-
Let me get out of this.
Maybe
first.
Mason was my tax guy and I lied to him. But I'm gonna be like, we can resolve this outside of the cave, all
Beth
right?
is the
Like-
biggest bitch.
But like,
Yeah.
imagine if like we're too hung up on this, but whatever.
No.
I'm in.
I'm in it.
now.
But, like-
He's got me in it.
But
now.
like, if in secret Mason like killed me, and us
Uh-huh.
four in the cave, Mason killed
Oops.
me.
Yeah.
No one else knew about it except him and me.
Yeah.
And then I'm dying, and then Dylan comes up and is like, "What happened to you?" I'm like, "Mason did this," and you're like, you don't really have anything to prove. I'm like, "Oh, also he had sex with your wife for a very long time."
And I'm
then
like-
you're like, "Oh, that gets me."
That's pretty frustrating, but considering the circumstances, I think that I've got bigger problems than my wife cheating on me right now. That's still my take.
I don't believe you.
That's
I
still
like
my
you just,
take.
like, explain
I'm
that.
mad.
I'm not killing
I'm
my
not-
only other like.
He's the only
aide
other
in
person
the
with the
cave,
dog in the
you know?
cave. If I'll make it this way, if it's Nathan, the other dog in the room with me,
That's what I'm
I'm gonna
saying.
be like, we're gonna sort this out after we get out of the
After,
cave.
if it was a little meat bag bag that
Yeah.
doesn't matter, that's gonna die anyway. Okay, fine. Let
Survival
me just wound
chances-
him real fast.
I want to survive long enough to make him suffer. I'm gonna put him into the cave with infinite time.
So
That's what I'm gonna do.
So you're saying as you're crawling out of the cave to the light and Nathan's behind you,
kick him right down the cave. Yeah, and I'm like, by the way,
I'm the only one who can fit.
once I'm through the finish line, all right. Well, you did
What
sleep
is
with
it?
my wife.
Tell Cersei I want her.
Yes,
I
I
want
want you to.
me.
I want you to know it was Price wanted me to let you know it was him. Well, kick him back in.
Price, I see your point a little bit, but at the same time, like,
Compartmentalizing here.
yeah, there are goblins crawling around trying to kill me right now. Like, this sucks, but this sucks more.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's just a movieing. You know?
Yeah, it's just a movieing. Which
But at least I feel like it's not like Mason said it was like human error, and I feel like a lot of the error is like justified. It's not too egregious. In
well,
my
the gear
opinion.
questions are
They don't think
unforgivable,
they
but-
need the gear because Juno has it all under control.
Well, Juno didn't have it all under control. As we
They had to
found
like
out
leave
in that
a
movie.
rope bag too, so they left some equipment behind.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
because
true.
of the cave.
She had to because of the
and
cave.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I mean, they clearly knew that they were going into a cave, but they were going to need to like set gear and stuff. Too.
Which-
so they in theory had gear.
Oh, for the record, too, they also rope bag wrong. The rope bag should be in front of you as you're going through the cave. No, like should that not be being dragged behind you? Like,
I don't know.
That
It can
feels right,
definitely
to be
just be
honest.
like lagging behind. Like it's this big and your
I mean,
body
I-
is this
I don't-
big.
because
I
that's
don't
how you
think
can get it
that's
caught
like
on your
a-
leg or something like that. Like, I mean, it makes more sense if you're gonna have it in front of you as long as you see where you're going.
Mm.
Like,
I don't know. How,
Well,
like,
so
rescue
think
missions
about it
work.
this way though: if you're
Uh-huh.
pushing a bag in front of you,
uh-huh.
it needs to be attached to you. Because what if you're pushing it through and you drop it down a hole?
Mm.
You know where you just came from. You don't necessarily know where you're going. To.
Yeah, but somebody already crawled through at that point. So for me, I'm already like, there's a clear
Okay,
path.
sure,
Like it's
sure.
yeah.
Then yeah, I mean, I guess if you're
She's like the fifth person that climbed through, like the last person that climbed through the hole.
yeah. So why?
Because she had a big old head, she got stuck in there. Stupid Sarah.
Are we ready to move on to the question because we're getting nowhere?
Yeah, let's. Oh, wait, you got a question?
I
Yeah.
gave you the question of
Yeah.
who had the dog
Alright.
in them, and it was all four of us.
All right, who's who in this movie besides Nathan, me, and Juno?
I'm clearly Sarah.
I don't see
Is
it.
she the
I don't
one
see it
stoning
either.
people?
I see. Like,
no, I will
can
kill
see
one
my-
of you guys if you're poked in the mouth.
Obviously, like I think I see myself more as Sarah because obviously I relate more to what she went through with like the whole like
An affair?
Beth's like
See, he's
oh
thinking
like
about the
shit.
affair still. Like,
Who died that
If
you
you're
loved?
in that
Yeah.
situation and like I
okay,
You looked more like Sarah.
You
I'll
look
give you
you're
that.
blonde. I'll give you
you're
it.
the little sister who dies as a meat shield. or
Okay, well
whatever.
here let's do
I
this.
am the
then.
quickest one of the group. I'll tell you that.
You're
much.
definitely
I'm way
I'm
faster
outta
than you.
here.
I beat
I'm
you.
outta
in the
here.
race.
You're running down
Are
into the
you
hole.
the one that ran and fell in the hole?
Yeah.
I'll be Holly.
Yeah, you're Holly.
I'll be the first one to die, but damn it, I was fast.
Okay, well that only leaves me with my only reasonable response, which is I'm the yoked caveman guy that steps on Holly later on.
The one that's crawling on all
the one
fours.
that's near, yeah. After the mom raises up from the blood pool, which was a 16 too. Like,
The
like
best scene.
yeah, you get Sarah rise up, and then you're like, oh shit, the mom's like coming up.
That
front.
was a really cool scene where
Yeah.
like you think like she's like, oh, that's a cool shot of her in the blood pit, and then
Yeah.
like no music, no sound or
Dead
anything,
quiet.
just like pops up behind her.
Yeah, no, that one was sick. But I'm definitely Daddy Caveman. Like,
There's a lot of games that have had that same scene. Like Until
Yeah.
Dawn
Yeah.
basically has a
Oh,
very similar scene.
similar.
to that.
It's
They're in
exactly the
lake
same at the
down
end.
in that cave. Kinda.
Yeah.
That was a weird creature that came up though, right?
Oh gosh, there's a Far Cry that does that same scene as well. I forget
A
which one.
Wendigo.
Yeah,
They're
it's
all
a-
the same.
Yeah. Well, 3 is special force.
All right, I'll take little Sally that could, whatever the hell her name was.
You pick
Sam. It was Sam.
I don't know. Mason seems like the kind of guy
There's
who come
no
up.
Sam.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a Sam.
Who?
What made this movie annoying was they had the same lettered characters. So there was a Beth and a
Beth,
Becca.
yeah,
There was
yeah.
a Sam
Who's
and
Becca?
a. Becca was one of the other.
She was
random
the younger
girls.
sister.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they just had too many like
Like
little
they
people?
just they wanted fodder and they
Yeah.
they
They
put
wanted
a
you to
little
not
too
care.
much fodder into this cave.
This movie had a couple too many fodders, right? So really quick, the question is, how many women were actually in this group?
7?
I think there might have been 6.
I thought there were 6,
I think there's 7.
but it feels like so many
And
died.
it feels like there's at least 10.
So the fact that we're unsure amongst the 4 of us, even watching, you watched this movie hours ago,
Yeah.
and we're not sure. There was too much fodder.
So older sister gets her belly nibbled.
Oh wait, no, I think it is 6.
Younger
I think there's,
sister
like, 3
gets
in each part.
gets
Uh,
caught on the
dangled.
meat hook.
Yeah,
Holly
Holly
gets
gets-
eviscerated
She
by
gets
that one.
caved and then caved again.
Beth gets stoned by
Ice picked and stoned.
Sarah.
She gets 1-2'd by the dogs.
Juno.
And
Should
then we
be
get the
dead.
dogs. And then Juno and,
And then Sarah.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
so
it.
it's 6.
All right, it's
yeah,
6,
it was
yeah.
3 per car.
But if you told me 7 or 8,
You wouldn't have batted an eye.
Not a clue.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the time they're in the
Yeah.
cave, it's all dark. I'm like, I don't know. They start all these skinny blonde women started just falling over left and right. So
All
They're
right,
skinny
I'm gonna
white people.
I'm gonna start the fat thin.
Yeah.
I do think that this movie was actually very fit. I know, controversial. I know that like that leading up to it seemed a little bit slow, but you did get this animosity sort of with like in the car ride, Sarah and Beth, I think. Those are the
Short-haired
two
girl?
friends. No, that's Holly.
Sarah and Beth go together.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, Sarah.
like,
Okay.
and they even mentioned, God, you know how Juno is. She's just, I'm not gonna talk to her this time about it. So there's already this we don't really like her. Like we'll do this one last thing. So I think that kind of takes them into the cave where like there's a little bit of a relationship issue. Maybe something's fading out. But anyways, I do think that the leading up to it is nice. I liked the scenes. I like them like walking up to the cave and they're just being pitch black. That's when I turn around. I'm going home.
Mm-hmm.
But instead they throw the rope and they repel.
Most caves are pretty pitch
Yeah.
black.
Which is why most of the time we're going
That's
home.
why I'm never
This
going.
cave isn't lit up.
There's not steps into this cave.
Here's what I'm doing. I'm nude swimming at the waterfall outside the cave, and then whenever you come up from that hole right next to it, I'm like, yo, how was the climb, bro?
Here's what I'm doing.
Covered in blood.
I am rappelling down there reluctantly, like I'm not liking it, and I'm putting my boots in the water, and then I'm going right back up.
Yep, I'm
And
gonna be
that's
like,
it. I went to.
I went caving.
Yeah, I went caving.
Yeah.
Anyways, I do think that this movie is fit. Even its weird tempo, I liked. I liked the once it finally got to it,
Descending
it
into
never really let up. You were tense. Like Price said, as soon as she kind of got stuck in the little like crevasse kind of thing, like the little
The crack.
the crack.
Yeah.
I do think from that point on, it never really slows way down, or it doesn't even slow down much at all.
Yeah.
Which is nice, but it does take you a little while to get there.
Yeah.
Well earned.
I mean, I think it's fine. There's nothing that I think is overly a waste of time. I mean, the movie's only like
Hour 30.
it's like 100 minutes long
If that.
in total, and like the only things I would want to see any different would be just like adjustments to stuff, not necessarily to the length. Like I think a game or a movie like this
Yeah.
would
Lara Croft.
would have been it would have been something worth like tilting their hand a little bit more, because they don't really do that. Or at least maybe they do. I just missed
They
it.
do. There's a part where like right after they get caved in, Sarah goes off by herself.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, she
and-
wanders
well,
off.
Oh my
and
god.
she
No,
sees-
yeah, that's to me that's not really like tilting the hand enough. Like that's pretty obvious. Like I'm saying like through the course of the first part of this cave, if like they saw some kind of better indication that
On
there
their
was
way
some
there,
sort
they
of
saw
life
skulls
there.
They see
everywhere.
this cave is haunted.
Yeah,
Like,
any sort of hint or clue.
Something.
Well,
Something
other than
to indicate that there is life there.
Other than the one, they do the handprint right when they go into the rappelling area. 'Cause
Yeah, that's
Sarah
true.
walks
There's
right
like
in
fingernail scratches.
And there's the
with the
fingernail blood ones on the wall.
So I did miss that.
Yeah, you did miss
Okay.
it. But there's one. That one, and I think
I was gonna
that's
say, but they're so small too, where it's like I forgot all about that until you said
Yeah,
it. Because
yeah.
Sarah herself like puts her hand up there and like
she's like,
does
huh,
the same thing.
probably nothing.
Probably not a big deal.
Yeah.
Just a little blood.
Yeah, with like
Just a little-
Wolverine.
Just a little like human hand-like blood.
Yeah. Yeah, I still think this movie's pretty fit. For as long, and I think that's surprising for me though, because for as long as it takes before it takes the descent to
The
start
ghouls
descending.
start ghouling.
Yeah, but I think that if they're descending for any longer at the pace and tempo that which they do it, I would feel fatigued by it. I would start to get the Mad Max like, and it don't stop coming and we don't stop coming. You know, like when it's just too much gas.
Yeah.
This one felt like if you told me like 35 minutes of just descenting around to like trim the herd, and then we start like tomb raiding about halfway through that part, I'm like, no, that kept the tempo of it very, very good. And I agree. I think that the time spent fleshing out two of the characters of the six, two of them.
Enough to where we don't remember the other one's names.
Couldn't tell you. Were there 7? I still don't know. But when we fleshing out like a little bit of the hints of the drama and giving you a little bit of clues about that and why like Sarah keeps depressedly walking off or whatever, I'm like, okay, I don't hate this. Like it gives enough explanation for the characters that are going to be living for a while, to make me feel like, oh, this is the drama that's going on behind the scenes. That being said, I still feel like it's silly. You don't kill them until you're on the way out.
This movie's a little fat. I mean, there's some like panning nature shots that feel like It's just taking up runtime for no reason.
You do hate painting nature shots if we've learned anything.
I do so much.
Yeah, I know.
It's just a waste of time.
Birdemic really established
I
that.
love that one.
There's a difference between like setting the scene and just indulging in the beauty of what you see. And in this one, it's not even like that astounding. I still remember one of the most egregious examples. That was the Green Knight. If y'all remember those nature shots in that.
I was gonna say
that's
I'm gonna make you watch
the
The Revenant and see what
movie
you
was
think of
egregious.
it.
I have seen The
that,
Revenant.
that movie is indulgence.
Yeah.
Revenant is the same way.
Yeah, the Revenant looked a
Revenant
lot like
is
this one.
beautiful
actually.
cinematography.
Something else we didn't really talk about, I think we should before we do scores, because I think it's really important, is the ending of
Yep,
the movie.
that's what I was going to bring
Oh,
up
yeah.
in my scores.
Yeah, because we didn't talk about it at all. That the U.S. ending basically ends on a hopeful note, where basically Sarah gets out, and then the like ghost of Juno pops up and is like, "Bah!" and then she just screams, and then the movie's over.
Huh.
Whereas the original ending that they did in the UK was that happens, but then she wakes up and she's inside the cave, like surrounded by crawlers.
Which
I didn't see
they
that.
allude to the idea of that being a thing that would happen at the end of this movie through the fact that they have a lot of moments where she's like dreaming very realistic.
She's
With the
kinda
birthday
nuts.
cake and her
Yeah.
daughter.
Yeah.
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 Well, and kind of like what I was saying, like the beginning of whenever she's in the hospital, like I had to go back and be like, did she die? Like, is this the afterlife and she's descending into hell? Because that's not a bad metaphor, for so to speak. Like,
But as quickly, does everybody have a favorite ending between the two?
The version
I
I
don't know.
watched did
No,
both
I've
of
seen
them,
the version.
and I think that it's well earned because it's, you know, getting out of this situation is nice. It's a kind of a fairy tale ending. Like, yeah, good job. You know,
Yeah.
you were able to outwit the creatures and your friend group
And the cave.
and the cave itself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know. I think that she's already too dreamy, like, throughout it. And she's kind of not all there upstairs. She's like 99% of the way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like the dreary, and you hear them like crawling towards her too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like the she didn't make it out ending.
I mean, I didn't see that one. I would
I didn't
assume
either.
that one is better because I think the ghost screaming thing at the end was pretty stupid.
Yeah. It's dumb. With especially like the whole as haul ass as she drives that car.
Oh, dude,
And I'm like, you're asking to break that car down in that mountain.
you're asking to
Like,
die
Oh,
off the
yeah.
side of a cliff.
Yeah, and like through that whole last segment, I was just thinking like, there's no need to rush now.
Yeah, you're
They're
good.
not gonna
coming.
get you.
Yeah.
They're not gonna get you.
They would have you would have got before you got into the cave
Yeah.
if it was there.
Or like right outside of the
Well,
wall.
and I was also half expecting like she's gonna be asleep on the side of the road, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
one of those things where it's
Dead
like
Snow
they
did it.
were in the back seat the
Yes,
whole
they
time.
did.
No, yeah, because they do camera hold it without ever touching back seats, and anytime they do that, I'm like, no,
Yeah,
I'm
it's like,
looking
yup, here it
immediately.
comes.
I'm like, anybody? Okay.
Now I'm in the right frame
And now
of
I'm
mind.
driving
So
45,
yeah, I
safe
mean that's
now.
a good reminder to anybody. If you're ever in a horror situation, check,
Check
the,
the
back
back
seat.
Check the back.
If you want to see how to really end a movie, here's the ending to the second one. Because you were talking about,
This is gonna be an explosion, isn't it?
you think
Is that the
so?
same hole?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
How many times
right.
can you go into a hole?
Oh yeah, that is the hole.
Yeah.
That's
Pisses
That
me
sounds like
off.
that sounds like quality.
Pisses me off.
Angry.
All right, Nathan. What if the ghost didn't happen, but she still made it out? She's still driving, and she does drive to the side of the road just to like collect herself and compose. But the ghost
I
didn't
mean,
happen.
I'm fine with her getting out of the cave.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's fine.
Just not the ghost.
She had the dog in her. She earned that. Yeah. It's the
I mean, yeah, it's like it's the beginning of a like very dark backstory heroine.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know.
She becomes the huntress after this, right? She's
Yeah.
fighting crime in Gotham.
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
well yeah, like there's the descent too. So
Yeah.
she had to make it out.
She went back
Yeah,
into the
Juno
cave
did.
to train.
Was it Juno or Sarah in the second one?
Both.
Both.
All right, I'm watching it.
Yeah. You know what, son of a bitch.
I got you.
How did Juno
How does
make
she-
it out? Because didn't she?
Never saw
She didn't
that.
make it out. She stays in the cave.
She's powering
She's
up.
been there for like 3 days.
What's the time span between 1 and 2?
Something like that.
So
I mean,
She's wearing one
that's
of their
the thing is
skulls,
like,
yeah.
like that. It
She's
is
queen.
an interesting
Yeah.
concept because if you make it out of that cave, you're not gonna not tell anybody
Yeah.
that there are humanoid
Corpses.
creatures living in this cave.
Hey, blow that fucking cave
Which,
up.
big
Nuke it.
spoilers for 2. For the 2 of you that care. Big spoilers for 2 here. I know they don't care, but here it goes.
It's not
Uh,
a spoiler.
Basically, like, the police investigate, and they take Sarah with them.
You mean the honky tonk department?
Yeah,
of
actually,
nobodies?
yes.
And they bring Sarah back.
And the way the cave caves in is like the bad guy sheriff brings his gun in, and somebody's like, "You shouldn't do that. Like, you shouldn't bring that into a cave. That's a terrible idea." And he's like, "Okay," and does it anyway.
Yeah.
He shoots one of the crawlers in the cave, and the cave caves in. But anyway, the ending of it, only one person makes it out. It's not Sarah. She gets out of the cave, and she's like running out. She's like, "Ah!" The caretaker of the area, who of course is a spooky old man, pops out of nowhere and hits her with a shovel and throws her back into the hole.
So he is like the dynamic of like, I keep these things fed. It's our
Yeah.
agreement. It's our Five Nights at Freddy's situation. Or actually,
Yeah.
Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's
Wonderland.
situation. My bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's that, and Until Dawn does the same thing too.
Yeah, there's the person.
Because there's the guy that's like trying to keep all the Wendigos
The
contained.
spookies.
Oh yeah, well he's kind of fighting them though.
Yeah, but he's still like trying to control the area.
Yeah.
But he's not.
Yeah.
He's not like helping.
Yeah, he's not asking people to help, which is really dumb.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. He's Jason's mom.
Yeah.
Score.
I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
This movie is an 8. I genuinely do like this movie. I think that it has something feels right when I watch it. Like it does have these dumb little moments of like when Beth says like, don't trust her. There's only 2 of you fuckers left. This matters a lot. It was obviously an accident. Like I don't think she would have killed me.
You're
know.
dying and you're on your last breath.
You're not gonna say that.
You're not gonna be upset about the
No.
situation.
No, so
No, you're gonna be chill.
No,
I would have got
because I
God
feel-
anyway.
It feels
it was
it
on
feels
me.
spiteful. It's like if you accidentally
have-
killed me, I'm just like,
you
yeah, kill
have
Price.
to know.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
have to know
So
that
fucking
it's
shitty.
your fault that you got in.
Yeah.
Like, that happened to you.
Are you gonna be that rational when you're gurgling blood and you have been for like 10 minutes
After
at this point?
after about 30 minutes of gurgling blood, I'm like reflecting on life and being like, I made poor decision. I can own
If
that.
I could do it all over again, I would.
I would have said on your 6. You know, like, that's all we ask. Like,
No, I think that this movie is fun though, and it's every time I watch it, it is still just as suspenseful. It's still just as cool when these parts come up where they're like rising out of the blood, or like the pickaxe is like just barely in frame, and Juno just walks towards the gang. Like it's neat, and I do think that for its flaws, it is better. Does she make it out? Not really. That's fine. I don't think that that these girls can handle the colony of goblins.
They can.
But you know what? It's fun to watch
But
them
they
take
don't
down
care.
a few. So yeah, it's an 8 for me. I enjoy it.
This movie has a lot of cool scenes, but I feel like maybe I need to think more on this with a lot of other movies that we've watched. Anytime there are characters making decisions that I find incredibly irrational, I don't like that at all. Like, super don't like that. So that's going to bring this down quite a bit. I'm going to land at a 6 with it. I mean, it's not
bad.
a terrible movie.
I thought this was
but,
gonna be a
man.
Nathan movie.
Yeah,
You had
I was
climbing and
telling-
everything.
I did.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
telling Mason whenever he first got here, it's like Price is about to be upset with,
I
with
thought
what
this
he was
was for
expecting
you.
of this movie
Yeah.
with me.
I didn't think about the fact that this does kind of check a lot of your boxes.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
all
it wasn't
Yeah.
for him, but
Yeah.
like,
Right.
I
But
think he
unintentionally,
liked it.
it's like that's a movie I'm
I mean,
hoping-
it's the kind of movie that in theory I would like, but
It's a lot of gore though. That's the
I
only
just
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have such a problem with a movie that wants to be serious but also has its characters written in a way that they're doing things that are irrational.
Bonehead.
Like, if this movie is meant to be like grounded, then these characters should have been making logical and grounded decisions, and they don't do that at all.
Mhm.
And that just takes me out of it constantly. Like, I'm all like a movie that's pulling me out of the action and everything to just be like scrutinizing the decision making of the characters the whole time is not something that's going to rate very highly for me.
A lot of the fight scenes were really choppy too. If
Yeah.
y'all remember, like all the
Well,
quick cuts whenever the
yeah,
fighting was
This movie
happening.
was full of quick cuts, and it was dark, obviously,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
because of that.
And you
so I
can't
think that was
see.
part of it, where you're just like, okay, somebody hit something. I'm pretty sure that was a human hitting a goblin, but I'm gonna.
Then you
assume-
they do like a slow shot of a pick going
Yes.
into their
And
goop.
then you know
all right,
who
they
got
win.
who.
Yeah.
They won that one.
Yeah.
I could see that being like a creative decision to say like
Yeah.
you're only kind of if you're in that situation and it's in the dark, you're only kind of loosely telling shadows fighting.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I
Yeah.
can get that from like a theoretical perspective, but you are
But
also
for a
making
movie-
a movie that people have to watch.
Yes, but for a movie audience, you're just kind of like, yeah, this is worse for us.
Yeah. It's like I don't care if this is your like artistic decision. You should make a better decision because you should remember that you're making.
Oh,
a movie.
like
Make
past
better
lives.
decisions.
I'm trying to forget about that movie.
Yeah.
God, Dylan.
That was a good one.
You always pick terrible movies.
Yeah, just me. Just bad movies all the time. Check the average score for me while I'm
Oh,
talking.
well.
So, I'm a little less hot on this than Mason. I'm a little hotter on it than Nathan.
You actually pick really good movies, like the best.
I typically pick.
Yeah.
You're really
I
handsome.
typically
Yeah.
pick.
You can take on
So
all these
good.
crimes.
Listen, at once, probably not. But at the stealthy rate that they were getting them, I'm getting that.
Yeah, they do like trickle a little
They
bit.
trickled. It's trickled
Yeah.
down economics here, and I'm Reagan, so I'm clearing through at least some of these guys. People who know politics love that joke. So, anyways,
That's a random joke, but I liked it.
this movie. Well, that's the right leaning on you that likes the Reagan reference there. So, this movie is a 7.5. This movie feels a little choppy in its genres. The genre work that comes in with people being the stupidest is annoying. I agree with Nathan on that, absolutely, where I'm sitting here thinking, why are you running? Why are you Well, that's what you get.
Why are you still screaming people's
Yeah.
names? Like,
Oh my god, I think they can hear us!
come get us if we don't come and get you first.
Yeah.
We're over here.
They do point that out when the sisters are laying with each other quiet and Juno's screaming for Sarah and the
Yeah.
sisters are like, better her than us.
Yeah.
Let them go to her.
Couldn't be me, bro. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So when the sisters are like being smart about the whole thing, and you hearing Juno, like, I think they use echolocation. Like, you know, like
You
she's
can
just,
probably hear me right now, but I don't know.
what's the other one? Clap. You know, like.
I just killed another one.
Yeah.
It was kind of tough. Oh, here comes another one.
This one's pretty big, guys. Hey, Morty. Yeah.
There's a Rick and Morty.
Yeah, that's
That
what it feels
sounds
like.
like
Honestly, that would not surprise
Guys,
me.
there's a lot of crawlers down here.
Yeah.
Oh, guys.
So, this movie's like, no matter what, it's entertaining. No matter what genre it's going for at the time. If it's going for a little bit of human drama with like suspense thriller, it's like doing that good enough. Whenever it's doing the horror stuff, it's doing it good enough. When it's doing the action horror, it's doing it good enough where I'm like, okay. The Juno hate is a little too hard. I'm glad that you brought that back up because I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, I
point.
didn't think about it.
Yeah, but then I got hot with you about it because I'm like, you're right, Juno.
Red hot.
I'm hot.
Remember that time I wrecked your Camry 7 years ago? I was
Please kill her.
drunk.
Right.
Please kill her.
It's gonna be Jackson being like, yeah, I don't know, man.
No, don't
The-
keep
the
going
dog,
with I
yeah.
know where you're going. Just continue.
So, moral of the story is, this is a movie 7.5. It's better than a bad movie being good. This is just kind of like an average movie hitting above its pay grade for me. That's kind of like the ballpark I kind of give it on that.
This was like, I guess, kind of one of the first kind of spookier movies I saw. I remember I was at a friend's house and they just put this on. And I was like, this is kind of scary. It's rated R. I don't know if my parents will let me watch it.
They wouldn't be happy about this.
There's only the minorest of nudity.
When's the nudity?
There's the topless,
shower
the
scene.
topless ghoul one, and there's a partial shower scene.
But it's not. Yeah, it doesn't.
It's
show
not
it.
really nudity. But the ghoul mom is technically like.
Yeah, there was ample opportunity for Ghoul Dong.
Yeah, I know.
If there was going to be anything like, why
Just
would they be
seven.
wearing a
Knock it down.
loincloth?
You
Yeah.
leave
Yes.
that 0.5. But
It was weird.
I know I'm the one who gets the last word and I get to do the rebuttals when they're already done. But most of the time, I'm one who really points out when people make really stupid decisions in movies and take you out. But I kind of feel like where they're coming from, they have this claustrophobic setting that's really been set up for the first half of the movie, which I think really helps to the movie's credit. It really helps set the scene and the setting of where they're at and how they're feeling. And then when they hit that cave-in hits and they just start panicking already, and that's without the
That's
goblins
human
anywhere.
nature. I
Yeah,
think,
because
when-
they're stuck, they're miles underground, no one knows where they're at, and they're just freaking out. And they're like, okay, but we'll kind of keep it together. We need to get out of here. And then they see daylight, and Holly's like, that's where I'm going. And then she takes off.
There's a rotten egg.
And then finally, they're like, okay, now we have a girl with a broken leg. How are we going to get out of here with her? This is getting out of control. And then goblins come out of everywhere. And at that point, if you think that you can be rational in that situation, you all are absolutely insane. Like, it is off to the rails, every man for himself at that point, because you're miles underground. There's people dying actively all around you, and there are gremlins everywhere you look, literally crawling on the ceiling,
They're
wanting to
ghouls.
just eat your belly as soon as they get. They love bellies. They're a big fan of bellies.
Big
in this
fan of
house.
bellies.
And
They wouldn't do for a belly.
and it's just off to the races at that point. And I don't know, I like how the movie is paced. I think, like Dylan said, like, I think this movie's paced very well, where it's got this feeling of unease at the beginning and then crescendos with the monsters at the end. I don't want a movie full of monsters. The little setup, like Nathan said, that would be nice. But other than that, I mean, like, some of the stylistic choices, like I said, the shots go on too long. The characters aren't too memorable. Sarah and Juno are obviously the standouts out of all the main cast, but that's what they're supposed to be. This movie is rewatchable. It's not too long, and I mean, it's probably like the second or third time I've seen it, so I enjoy it. And it's a scary movie, and normally I don't really like those, but I think this movie has a lot to offer, so I'm gonna give it an 8.
Solid. I do think that it's fun too that like we've all noticed something different. Like Nathan didn't notice like some of the little things along the way.
I didn't catch it.
I didn't notice the affair at all.
that was both
That's
of
a
us.
big one.
Yeah, like there's so many things that we've pieced together.
I'm
that are
wondering
like,
if
oh wait
that-
a minute, this actually does make sense.
I'm starting
Like,
to wonder if that's not like a Virgin like specific thing, because like I also don't remember the
No.
Juno ghost screaming either.
No,
to be
because
honest.
I remember checking into this movie when the pipes went through the
Yeah.
windshield. So I would have I saw the whitewater rafting. I think I stepped away for 2 seconds, came back, and
Did some laundry.
I was making breadsticks actually for me to eat for this
Watch
movie.
this movie.
You put them in the oven?
I was taking them out of the oven.
Yeah, that's fair.
I had to
Well,
check
you
them.
you said make them, so that implies like you had yeast to use.
He's just slapping it out over there on the
He's
side.
got his little apron on, listening to Italian. That's some more.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a scary
Yeah.
movie.
They're flipping this over.
He's just kind of
Oh,
like peeking out
pipes.
every now and again. Cool.
And that's
Yeah.
what we imagine, but actually it's ripping open the bag,
Yeah.
slapping them on the pan.
No, so
Sorry.
I did. I missed like literally the first like 2 minutes of this movie after the whitewater rafting. So that was a very important part.
Which now that you bring that up, I'm pretty sure that's the part because they do have those weird looks for a second, and I'm like,
Very sexually charged.
yeah, they weren't
How
sexual
hot.
enough. I wasn't picking up on it.
Not enough chemistry.
It wasn't like Bowling Green's Bram Stoker's Dracula. You know what I mean? Like that one's sexually charged.
Yeah, I understand that reference because I went.
Hey, I went too. Opening night.
I didn't.
I have no idea what's going on. 2 hour hangout. No,
Oh, yeah.
it's what plants crave. Finally, I get to
Oh.
pick.
Oh.
I thought you were
Oh my god.
Damn.
Ow.
So it landed like right on it, not even an arrow?
Yeah, no,
No, it landed on it.
Straight up on it. Yeah,
Whose is that?
that's
mine.
Nathan's.
Oh,
We finally get to figure out what it means.
I know. I've been.
Little Shop of Horrors, round 2.
No. I think I got it over here.
Oh, Rotten Tomato, 87% critics, 76% audience.
Yeah, audience gets me.
Fitting.
Yeah,
I guess it isn't over here.
Well, so we can't watch it.
hate that.
Nathan,
Well, it's in my room somewhere.
Little Shop.
We're gonna be watching Idiocracy.
Ah, okay, I'm there now. All right,
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I can see the poster.
Your boy might make an appearance.
It's
Tom Hardy?
No, it's
Judd Apatow.
That's a
No, Mike
director.
Judge.
Or Mike. Yeah, that's what it is.
Mike
Mike
Judge.
Judge.
Luke
Sure.
Wilson.
yeah, Luke Wilson, Owen's brother. That's who's in it.
Is that actually his brother?
Yeah, it's actually they're both Wilson brothers.
And they're both in.
We're gonna get to
Wes
see
Anderson
President
movies.
Camacho.
Yeah, Mountain Dew Alonzo.
Is that Terry Crews?
That's Terry Crews. He's
Oh,
the
yeah.
president.
He's the president.
Yeah. I have not watched this movie in so freaking long.
I've never
Yeah,
seen
it's
it.
been it's
Never
been a
seen
minute.
it.
Oh, you never seen it? Oh,
Oh,
well,
that'll be
this is
fun.
gonna be a good one.
This fits into season 1 rules.
Yeah,
yeah, it
at least
does.
two
Oh
people.
yeah.
And we're back. Full
I forgot
circle.
we did that.
Mhm.
Man.
Are we on
could-
the 200th episode yet?
No, we still got a few more to
We
go.
still got
Okay.
like 15 more episodes or something.
No, it's less than that. It's like 4.
Oh, we
But
got 4 more.
I forgot about that rule back in the day. Like
Yeah.
2 of us can't
Can't
have seen it,
Half the podcast must be going in
or
blind, too.
less. Yeah.
Yeah, or
like,
more. Yeah.
Or more. Yeah.
But anyways, so that's our show talking about The Descent. If you like our content, let us know in a comment below. Do you have the dog in you? Are you making it out, or are
How
you?
many are you taking down? With
Yeah, how
before
many are you
go?
taking? Or are you getting sputtery nervous and then just leaping into the hole? Let us know. Are you using that last hook? You don't use that hook. I knew that was going to happen. Stupid idiots. Why would they use an old hook? Can't trust it. Idiots. And make sure to hit the bell. Give us the good old like and thumbs up if you like all the content we're doing. Or for white guys talking about movies, that's very original.
Yeah.
So if you want to
You've
keep
never seen anything like
if you
this.
want to keep
Oh, yeah.
supporting that, Meet us over on Patreon. No, we don't got one of those.
We're not gonna make you do
We're
it.
not gonna make you do it, and we're not gonna do that. But just support the video.
We'd feel guilty for taking money for this.
Oh, filthy guilty.
Oh,
Yeah. You paid for that? I'm so sorry. But anyways, that's our show. Make sure to tune in next week for Idiocracy. Bye, guys.
Bye.
We don't even have ads on these, right?
No.
I mean, I
We're not
know,
qualified
I think
for
we did,
ads.
but it's
I think you need like 1,000.
You need 1,000 scrubs.
subscribers, and then like
So many
Like
hours.
it might be 1,000 hours
I-
of watch time.